Ryan Getzlaf is having arguably his best season in the NHL. He signed an 8-year, $66 million contract extension a year ago in March, and you can see how that deal can put some pressure on him. But instead, he has shined and embraced his role as team captain. Recently, Lisa sat down with Ryan to talk about this season and the state of the team heading into the playoffs.
It's been a banner season so far for you and the Anaheim Ducks, but I want to start first on an individual level with you. You picked up your 600th career NHL point, so congratulations on that. And on that same day, you scored number 30 for the first time in your career. And when you started back in 2005, did you set those lofty goals for yourself, those high expectations of that you wanted to get to this point?
You know what, I don't think I never really set personal goals, in my whole life on those kind of things. The numbers in that, I think, kind of come with the territory and the way things go. So my goals are more about winning hockey games, and I think, in doing that, I know that that's part of it. I need to produce, and I need to produce offensively, and obviously the gradual steps have gone through my career so far, and I've been pretty fortunate to play with a lot of good players and some guys that can put the puck in the net fairly well. So.
How have you evolved as a player, would you say, since '05?
There's been a lot of changes, I think, and the way you approach the game, the way that you play the game, for that matter. When we came into the league, I only had to play 12 minutes, and I could go out there and run around and kind of throw my body around a little bit more than I do now. But there's been some responsibility changes and stuff over the years where I've learned to adapt to those things and taking care of this group on and off the ice. On
to fatherhood. You and your lovely wife Paige are expecting your third child. How has fatherhood shaped you?
It's been a different process. Obviously, the first year, I've made it pretty well known that it was a hard adjustment for me, and there were some things that I had to learn to do differently, and that was part of growing as a player, I think, as well. When you get into the family life, and not only a wife but kids and stuff, where you have other responsibilities, and I had to learn to go through both of those and separate the two, so that when I'm here, and when I'm at home, I'm taking care of my family. So it's been a learning curve for me and my wife, and we've really enjoyed it. I mean, there's nothing better than having a family in this business and being able to have my kids in the room and those kind of things. One
of your teammates, Teemu Selanne, has 4 children. Did you pick his brain, when you first started? Yeah,
I talked to a lot of guys. I mean, Scotty was one of the people that I talked to more than anybody, because obviously he'd been through the captaincy and all those things, and I've dealt with him. But Tamo, all these guys that have kids, I spoke to a lot and kind of learned those ins and outs of separating the two, and how to make sure my wife gets the help that she needs and stuff as well.
And when you speak of your wife, they have to be very understanding, and you have to be understanding of what they go through as well, with you guys spending so much time on the road.
Well, that is, that's having a good wife at home that is willing to accept those responsibilities and stuff makes it all the difference in the world. And it's there was times, obviously, where I resented her that she was able to be home with the kids and I had to be gone, and there was times where she resented me that I got to be gone. So those were things that obviously we had to work out together, where it's where we have that healthy balance, where I understand how hard it is for her at home when we're not around, and when we're during the season we're not around, even when we're at home. So it's something that she learned, and I learned to support her a lot better than I had in the first year.
Welcome back to Ducks Weekly, coming to you from outside of Honda Center. Now, earlier I spoke about Ryan Getzlaf's 8-year contract extension, which also includes a no-move clause, meaning he and his family have set up roots right here in Orange County. This is his home, and in part 2 of his interview with Lisa Hillary, he talks about being a family man and being part of this community.
As a team, Ryan, you guys have gone through just some remarkable things. Obviously, that wonderful home streak that you guys had going at Honda Center, 20-0-2. Can you draw parallels to this team now to the 06-07?
Obviously, there's some similarities in the fact that we did a similar path in 06-07 when we started out of the gates, and we played really well, and we were able to get out in front, and then we had a little stumble down the stretch and those kind of things, which we did this time. So we're going to draw back on that for the guys that were here and help paved the way in these last 7-8 games that we have left here going into the playoffs, and know what it takes to prepare for those things, and draw back on the things that we did do well at the start of the year, and making this building a hard place to be.
Does it make you proud when you look at guys like Nick Bonino, who are having phenomenal seasons, Andrew Cogliano, Matthew Perreault? Does it got to make you proud that you're playing with these young guys and to see them succeed around you?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, we've had so many guys that have come up and played so well, and step into big roles. And you talked about Bonino, who's been stepping into that role in the last couple of years, and this has really been his year where he's really established himself as a solidified second-line center who can step in and play different roles and play big minutes for us, frankly. And he's had a great season doing it.
Other end of the spectrum, you've got two guys that say they're retiring, in Teemu Selanne and we'll see about Saku Koivu. How cool would it be to be able to win the Stanley Cup with those two, and especially since they're on their way out?
The funny thing is we thought we experienced that the first time we were sending Teemu off into the sunset, but obviously here we are 6 years later, and he's still around. So you know, this is it's a special time of year, obviously, going into the playoffs, and when you have those guys that you know. Obviously, we know Teemu's not coming back, and Saku, you know, is kind of in limbo what he's going to do. But to have that opportunity to send them off again would be awesome.
I would think that when you're in the middle of a long-term deal like this and you sign a long-term deal, you like the way, the direction this organization is going, and that's why you live in Orange County and you want to stay here. This is your home.
Yeah, you know what, it's, you know, when we went into those negotiations, there was a lot of different things pulling you in different ways, and you know, those who have been through it know that going to July 1st is it can be an exciting time in a player's career, and obviously a huge opportunity to make some money and change your scenery most of the time. But that wasn't our focus when we were going into it. It was more just about establishing what the direction of the team was, like you had mentioned. And you know, our ownership had made it pretty clear that they wanted us to stay here. And when I was doing my deal, that was a big part of talking to Murph and establishing where he was going with the team, and making sure we were still part of it.
This is a business, it's a job, but you have to have fun. Are you having fun?
We're having a great time. This is, you know, this has been one of the more enjoyable years of my career so far. And anytime, obviously, when you're having success, and the group that we've had in the locker room has been outstanding.